The nuclear family is formed of Nikki, Andrew, Katie and Marney.
Nikki is, mum of 2 girls. She's absolutely dedicated to her family and sometimes loses sight of other stuff in the world. She's so focused on Marney.
Nikki's journey through the show is looking at her scar tissue and looking at what it's done to herself and what it's done to her family, and being challenged, particularly by Katie, as to her responsibility to others. One of the things I love about how Sharon's played her is that she showed all colours of Nikki. Nikki's not perfect, she's not selfless, she's not any of these sort of cliches that you get, particularly when you're dealing with the disabled community. She's a flawed, loving, wonderful, difficult person. I just love how she's acting that.
Can I have my blanket?
I play Andrew Lloyd, husband to Nikki, father to Katie and Marney. He's a man who tries to avoid conflict and confrontation, usually tries to keep things on as even a keel as possible.
He is immensely loving, he is generous and kind, and he is someone who has been an excellent dad, but he hasn't been around as much as Nikki. And now he's going to do something which takes him completely out of his comfort zone, and it causes immense difficulty for him.
I think he feels like the family is worth fighting for, and that there has to be a way through this somehow for the family to stay together. And, he's kind of flailing, I think, and is starting to fall apart.
I play Katie, and she's Marney's older sister. Katie's very loving, fun. I think she's very mature for her age, from having to adapt since she was a kid to, Marney's condition and being of help and understanding. It's a difficult position to be in, and a family dynamic is kind of having to be the well kid, and that brings about its own struggles and complications that at times causes Katie to rebel or kind of rage against her parents a little bit.
She's grown up as very much the second daughter, the daughter that's required to fit in, the daughter that's not allowed to cause trouble, and with a lot of resentment because of that. And at the same time, with a sister who loves her totally and utterly, and who she loves totally and utterly back, but she doesn't quite know how to deal with. And then when we join her at this moment in crisis, she's dealing with her own identity. She's dealing with the fact that she's gay and she hasn't talked to her parents about that. She's dealing with the fact that she's about to become an adult and how she feels about that. And she's then torn between the two of them and trying to work out how to find her own way through it.
My character's name is Marney. She is a bright, spunky, honest and very caring individual.
She is kind and generous and seemingly without spite, but she's also got complications of her own, and I love the way that Neve is playing her, in that there is a layer of her that is playing a character. Marnie's truth sometimes becomes buried because she feels this need to be perfect.
She has such a special ability to observe the world around her and see such beauty in it that I think other people sometimes miss out on, because she has a unique perspective on life with her different ability. It's very interesting to see how the family views their current situation, and then we see what Marney saw, and I think that makes it really beautiful. And that's kind of her area, is to show the truth and the love.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry to barge in.
Production design was very important for this project because we wanted to give a sense that the family house where Marney would have spent so much of her life with Nikki, her mother, was the most special place in the world, and the parents would put so much effort into that. So at the same time as feeling like a normal British family house, the balance there was to add as much colour and fun to that.
I think it's always a complicated thing if you're trying to create a family and a family home. So you've got the art department coming up with, all kinds of rich details and that reflect a family life.
We filmed in a real house out in Pinner, which was so brilliantly designed by Alison, our set designer. I think what's so brilliant about that set and that house is that it has such kind of brightness and warmth, like there's so much kind of art, and the house feels really lived in. She got pictures of us all when we're younger. It's all those things just make it really feel like a real home and that this is a real family. And I think when you're playing in that space, it makes it feel all the more kind of authentic.
The more you can kind of feel like this is a real family living in a real home, the easier it is to just, get into the character and into the character's situation.
Because we were shooting with Neve, who's a wheelchair user, it was slightly difficult to work with her in the house. It's the constraints of a domestic suburban house. So we actually shot part in a real house in Pinner in North London and part in the studio set where we built Marnie's bedroom, and that allowed us just to spend a bit more time and be a bit more detailed with Marnie in her own space, but at the same time have the reality of a family house where you can walk in and out of the doors.
Marnie's room goes through various stages throughout the story. We see her room as a baby, her room when she's much younger, and then her room as it is now when she's older. And there are so many beautiful tiny details in the room. My favourite, of course, being all of the wonderful references to the butterfly. It's kind of a symbol that I had come up with for this idea of metamorphosis that she goes through. I think the beautiful thing with Marney is her ability to just float around in the world that she's in and move so gracefully and with so much love with the people that she loves, that I think the butterfly was just perfect for that.
One of the things I love about Alison, who's our production designer, one of the ideas she brought to it was because of Marnie's condition, she spends a lot of time looking up. And so one of the things Nikki's done in the house is she's really made the ceiling alive. If you look around houses, the ceiling's the blandest bit of the room. And that attention to detail, that love that you see pouring out of Nikki is beautiful.
Getting to watch everything being built and recreated and just beautifully made has been an absolute gift.